Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Hi, Ted.
Good morning. Good morning. We're going after it again.
Yes. I want to bring everybody back to where we left off, and so we're all on the same page. Last week, we talked about inaction, reasons we don't start. All the things that we say are the reasons we don't start, but most of them, the root is fear. And on top of that, Ted, I hear you get the question all the time. How can I be more confident? How do I get rid of doubt? How do I get rid of fear? And if I throw that at you, Ted, what comes to you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take us to the deeper end of the pool today on this one. Look, we only have 10 minutes or so, or whatever amount of time we're going to spend, but I want to kind of plant the seed here. This is about self, the understanding of fear. Up here, what I'd say is get comfortable living in both spots, because people are constantly asking me, we got these questions at the event, how do I change my fear into confidence? Well, there's no switch to change fear into confidence, right? Yes. I think you're going to be living in the land of both. I mean, I'm still living in the land of both. There's ebbs and flows. Like after you get a big gig, you're feeling confident, and 2 weeks later you get slapped down and the fear settles in and the self-doubt settles in and all that. And so what I'd say high level is you have to start to normalize the fear. It's normal, yes. Right? Now, the deeper end of the pool in fear is really starting to understand self in a much deeper way. And sometimes that takes some really deep introspective work. And I'm saying deeper end of the pool because this warrants deeper discussions and whatever. But here's what I'd say up here. We are all just a manifestation of our life experiences. 100%. That's what we are. And unfortunately, sometimes we go through life blindly. In my line of work, having coached people for 20 plus years, I've encountered far too many people that they kind of understand that they're a manifestation of their life experiences, but they don't understand how the life experiences have manifested themselves in their life. They haven't slowed down enough to kind of connect the dots of all those things. And so you may be living in fear that started when you were 18 or living in fear of, and again, I always use myself as the example, but acceptance was always a big thing for me. Yes. Right. Like, transracially adopted kid. And I always just wanted to be accepted until I slowed down, as I referenced last week, like in my late 30s, early 40s, I didn't realize how that was showing its face in work and in my career and trying to overcompensate and fear of opening my mouth because I wouldn't be accepted. It was still this stuff that back then. And then I had to start to do the self-work that gave me confidence to stay true to who I innately was. Right. So I know this is deeper into the pool stuff, but I would encourage you to start going, where did all this stuff come from? Because sometimes we just look what's right in front of us. For example, writing career. And we're putting all the emphasis on, I'm scared I won't be a good enough writer. Is it that? Or is it some stuff from the way our life experiences that now are showing its face in a different way? And we have to help resolve some of that thing and do some introspective work. What I would say is when you do that and you become more confident in self, you take action in a different way, right? Yes. Which is what we said last week. Having said that, that does not eradicate. I kind of want to dispel the myth that you're going to change. This is my opinion, right? There's people that have various opinions, but I don't think you're going to flip the switch from self-doubt to confidence and the self-doubt goes away. Right. Mm. So, I do believe this requires some introspective work. I do believe that if we just stay at this level, we're really not going to solve what we're talking about. Because this fear thing, I got to tell you, is probably the most prevalent thing that I've heard in the last 7 or 8 years at AWAI from members.
I agree.
People like we're talking to.
And I think we understand why change is always scary and it always brings with the fear. I will tell you, full transparency, every single time I get on here to talk with Ted, I am doubtful of myself. Like, what do I have to talk about with Ted, who I think is like an oracle of knowledge? What can I bring to this conversation? How can I contribute? But what I do is I come here every single time with the intention to give and to show my heart and to express what I feel. And on top of that, Ted, to layer it in, I also do research that makes sense. Like I read and I'm passionate about this and I'm interested in it. And so I know I have something to contribute because of that. As a writer, if you're researching in terms of like you're studying and you're learning and you're doing, then you know that you have that foundation, like you can like almost like anchor in that, you know what I mean? And that knowledge. And I'm sure there's been tons, I know there's so many members that have got tons of great feedback from people. And then I also wanted to layer into, you know, like you said, knowing yourself and why you have these fears. And I know for me, often it was because of what I was told by other people. You know, I'll never forget in college, there was this guy, like, because I didn't take like the regular path, like everyone around me was either a psychologist, an engineer, or a lawyer. They were everybody's degrees except for mine. And I was like, I want to travel one day and I want to be able to do something that would translate internationally, whether I left home or not, right? And so I decided to do like anthropology and tourism. And I'll never forget, I said that out loud and he looked at me and he said, and what are you going to do with that? You'll be nothing. And so can you imagine like how whenever then you enter any situation and you have the words of somebody like that on you, right? If you're not aware that that had an impact on you and you, like you said, you live blindly and just move through.
You're going.
You don't know how that's like weighing you down like so negatively. And it's like you acknowledge it, you give it power in a way where you're able to do the things in regardless of that.
But that's it. That's the deeper end of the pool. You weren't, you know, somebody could not be true to themselves. They get that you know, it gets embedded in them and then they choose a career path that doesn't suit what they desire, or they are trying to overcompensate and show face differently. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, the deeper end of the pool. That's, we got to do it. The last thing I'll just throw in here on this is that, you know, because last week we talked about this idea of just taking action. And I know we're going to be overly redundant with that one. Because the truth be told, we can't just sprinkle pixie dust on the people that we're here with today versus like keep on nudging them to take action and see what happens. And here's what I want to say about that. If you don't take action, you're living in a world of uncertainty. And uncertainty is a beast. And what I'd want you to do is go seek certainty. So if you want to frame it up a different way, instead of saying, hey, I'm not taking action or take action, I want you to go seek clarity. I want you to seek certainty. And certainty comes by the way of knowing if you can do this or not, right? So right now you're living in a world of uncertainty, which is keeping you on the sidelines even further than just your fear, right? Because you're like, I don't know what the unknown is. Well, you know, I hate using sports analogies, but Wayne Gretzky's famous quote, you'll miss every shot that you don't take.
Yeah.
Well, we're sitting in a place of uncertainty. Go seek clarity. I would much rather you, again, I mentioned this a little bit last week. I would much rather you go and get certain, find out that you can't do this after 9 or 12 months, and then pivot your life than live in a world of uncertainty. I mean, do we need more uncertainty in our world today? I mean, my Lord, we are immersed with uncertainty. And so go out and seek clarity by the way of taking action.
You know, I talked to Ted about this before. I have a friend that just applied for a job, and because she has the, ethos or like the mentality, and because she coaches her students on this, that you should just apply for everything, like everything that you could possibly want, you should just apply for. And she said, and it reminded me of our right to shit, because you don't need to be the best in the world. You just need to be the best of the applicants. Right. And I think so many people don't even try to go after that client because they think that they need to be that A-level, high-level copywriter, but you just need to be the best of the people that are in front of them.
That's such a huge point. Like, yeah. And you're hitting on something that changed my mindset. I used to think like I had to land with everyone.
Yeah.
No, in my business model, I have to land with like six clients. Out of all the people in the world and all the business world, I need about 6 to live the life that I have. Like, I got to land with 6. I got to resonate with 6. I got to have 6 companies believe in me.
Yeah.
And I hope that people start grabbing that, because to your point, the best applicant, you're not going against the world. You're going against the 12 people that applied for the job. Yeah. And for you as a person out there trying to get clients, you only need one person to see what value you bring for this thing to get kickstarted for you. Yes. Just one.
Yes. And it's always the hardest, but from then, that's where it comes.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted, so what should everybody attempt to do this week or take away this week when it comes to
I want people to go, the deeper end of the pool. I really do want people to self-reflect. I know we're on here talking about business and life and all the rest of this stuff. And some people may be like, wow, what the heck are we asking to do this week? But I think that's what's required. If you're sitting in the bucket of I'm fear and it keeps on coming up, you got to do some work around what residual effect has some of these life experiences had and how's it showing its face now? And then we got to start to rectify some of it. Awesome. The other thing I would do is I want you to normalize it. I want you to normalize the fear. It's part of the process. So there's a certain level of acceptance that you're going to have to do there too.
I feel like if anybody's been in a workout class, you've heard, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I hear that in my head all the time. Awesome. So then next week, I know everybody always wants speed and wants to get there faster. So we're going to talk a little bit about what they can look like and how to get to your goals as quick as possible. And with everybody there. Thank you, Ted.
See you next week.